So I'm from the Shirdi, Maharashtra. I have completed my graduation from Walchand College of Engineering, Sangli with a 72 percentage, and after that I joined the Netcracker Private Limited. So where I was working as a Java full stack developer, in which I have worked on the technologies like Java, Spring Boot, and Angular on front end. So Java, Spring Boot, Spring MVC, and as well as JUnit test cases. After that, I joined the TCS in March 2023, and till now I'm working with the TCS. I'm in the span of this 2 years, I have worked on the many technologies like Java, Spring Boot, then REST APIs, and Angular on front end. So our projects is basically for the customers, where they can create the projects, and they can manage all the tasks which are associated with the project. So where we have work on the design part of that front end technologies and front end UI part, and as well as back end REST APIs and other services parts. And I have written so many JUnit test cases to test our application. So that's all about my introduction.
Okay, okay. So you have how much experience you have right now?
3 years, 3 years, 1 month.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So JUnit, JUnit, Makuto.
Yeah, I know the JUnit and Makito because I have worked on that, and I have written many test cases for our application.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah.
So JavaScript, HTML, CSS support if you got any support
Uh,
project in any
yeah,
project.
Java.
CSS, JavaScript.
Yes. CSS, HTML,
Hmm.
then TypeScript,
Hmm.
Angular.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, great. So Java, which version have you used?
Java 1.8 and above versions.
So Spring MVC, Spring Boot.
Yes. Spring MVC and Spring Boot as well because I have worked on that.
Okay. So dispatcher servlet.
Yeah, I know the dispatcher servlet. If we are talking about the dispatcher servlet,
Hmm.
so we are using the Spring MVC pattern for developing the Spring Boot applications. Okay, so
Hmm.
in that dispatcher servlet is the main for the Spring MVC design pattern.
Hmm.
So what is the dispatcher servlet is? It is work as a front controller. Front control as in, suppose whenever we are getting all the HTTP requests,
Hmm.
so all these HTTP requests will first goes to the front controller, that is dispatcher servlet,
Hmm.
and then it will check the mapping of that each HTTP request, and then it will map it to the any of the respective controllers.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then it will check the mapping, and whenever we are creating the controllers into our application, at that time we are using the @controller and @request mapping annotation. So at that time, this @request mapping annotation, we can mention that mapping for that particular HTTP request. So at that time, dispatcher servlet um, uh, will will means whenever it will come the all the request, it will map that particular request to any other controller. That is the work of this dispatcher servlet.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So Spring Boot, how to create a Spring Boot application. Suppose you want to create from scratch.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So for creating the Spring Boot application, we have the Spring Initializer tools. Okay.
Hmm.
So Spring IO tools, that Spring Initializer tools. So we can for creating the Spring Boot project, we can refer that spring.io as a website where we can go and we can create that project. We can add the dependency, we have to add the artifact IDs, then we have to add the packages name, then all the group IDs we have to mention, and after that we have to add all the dependencies, like various dependencies of the Spring Starter dependencies, then Spring Boot validation dependencies. These all the dependency we have to mention, then we have to create the project. And after the creating project also, we have for creating the project we also create the project by using the STS Spring Tool Suite tool. Into that we can
Okay.
create the existing Maven project and archetype. We can mention the group ID, then Maven artifact IDs, and after that we can create the Maven project.
Okay.
And
Okay. 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 Okay.
yeah,
Okay, bro. Okay, bro.
yeah,
So you JPA also you know?
yeah, yeah. Actually, we are using the JPA in our current project.
Okay. So objective of JPA using in any Java application.
Hmm.
So you know objective of this.
JPA we are mainly using to communicate with the databases. Okay,
Hmm.
so yeah, means whenever we are creating our Spring Boot application, we have the large amount of data,
Hmm.
and as well as we can use Postgres, SQL, or any other database. So
Hmm.
at that time, adjectives of that JPA is we are using the Java persistence APIs.
Hmm.
So we are using the JPAs to communicate with the database
Hmm.
and database tables. Into the JPAs, we have that at the rate entity,
Hello.
at the rate column annotations, at the rate ID annotations. If we are creating any kind of a model into our projects, and if we are using this kind of annotation, then automatically these tables and the columns will be created into the database.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, so Java side, you know, basic OOP concepts.
yeah. I know the OOPS concepts.
Hmm. Can you explain about that?
Okay, so OOPS we have the means Java is an object-oriented programming language. So we have the various types of concepts like inheritance, abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism. So first, if we'll talk about the abstraction, so abstraction means only make available the set of services to the end user and hide the internal implementation from the end user. And we can achieve the abstraction by using inheritance interfaces and abstract classes. Then encapsulation means binding the data and methods into a single unit. That is called as encapsulation. And
Can you give the example?
for encapsulation, we have the class. Java class is an example of an encapsulation. Like Java class has some properties. Like student class can have the student ID, student name, and it can have some methods and constructors. And we are wrapping up them into the single unit. So that can be the example of an encapsulation.
So what is meaning of wrapping the single unit?
Wrapping into the single unit means class can have that members as well as data members as well as functions and services we are using into the single unit, and we can create the object. Okay,
Okay, okay, that's
yeah, we
that
can create
that
the object.
oh
Yes,
that things I want to know.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, and encapsulation, yeah, abstraction.
Abstraction, for abstraction interfaces can be the example of an abstraction.
Hmm. No, this is wrong.
Abstract classes are
No,
the
abstract
abstract
class.
classes and interfaces.
No, this is wrong.
Pri- we can use the
No, no,
private.
no, no, no. You just listen. Abstract class and interface is not a part of abstraction. Abstraction means whatever encapsulated, just I want to extract it. That is
Yes,
the abstraction. Whatever, what things you have bound in object and that bounded variable and method, if we want to extract it, so that is the abstraction.
uh,
Interface is a different thing. Suppose this will provide the resolving the diamond issue. Abstract class is which class don't need to create object, but we want to utilize it in any classes in common feature. Suppose we have some common feature we want to inherit in all classes because of we have only single features, but requirement is different types, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
we can use it. So abstraction simply, this is a part of aggregating the data and method. Suppose you object dot name, object dot name. So you name means if you writing this, it will give the only outcome result to the user, and
Yes.
internal detail automatically will hide whatever you have written in class.
Hmm.
This is the real example. Okay,
Yeah.
keep in
Yes.
mind. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So design pattern, what type of design pattern you know?
Currently, we have work on to the Spring MVC project.
Hmm.
So as of now, for the design patterns, means only the Spring MVC design patterns currently we are using.
Spring framework using some different kind of design pattern. Prototype,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Single
prototype,
prototype
and
session.
singleton. This is the design pattern.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Single and prototype session global
Hmm.
and request.
So
These
you
are the
know the parent class of all exception classes.
sorry, you're not audible.
Parent class of all exception classes.
Parent class of all the
Exception classes.
exception classes is a throwable.
Throwable. Error and exception.
Which exception?
Throwable will generate two type of
Yeah,
exception and
yeah.
error.
Throwable will generate exception and then error.
Error. So
Yeah.
error, which scenario it will generate the error?
Uh, Error will be assertion error, memory out of error. These are the errors that we can get. If we
Suppose.
are writing any kind of a Java program, at that time, if memory clashes happens,
Hmm.
and the memory out of means so at that time if we get any kind of a memory exception, JVM exceptions,
Hmm.
means whatever the resource that we are using, if we are getting that exception because of these resources, then we can call them as an error.
Okay. So now suppose serializable and deserialization, serializable
Yes,
and deserializable interface.
yes, yes.
Yeah, please tell.
Yes, serialization is a form when we wanted to convert the Java supported object into the network supported form.
Hmm.
So at that time we can use the serialization,
Okay.
and for deserialization, if we wanted to have the network supported object, we wanted to convert into the Java supported form. So at that time we can use the deserialization process.
Just 1 minute. Yes. So array and array list.
Yes, yes.
So what is difference between array and array list?
The difference between array and array list is that array is fixed in size,
Hmm.
and if we are considering the array list, so array list are implementing the growable array as an internal data structure. So array list is a part of an collection,
Hmm.
and because of the array has some limitations that we cannot grow it into the size, so
Okay.
that we can refer the array list over that.
Okay.
And For array we can store only the homogeneous kind of element, but into the array list we can store the homogeneous as well as heterogeneous kinds of element. And array does not have the built-in methods or utilities that we can use for array manipulation. But array list is an extending the list interface, which list interface already has some built-in methods like add for adding the elements, removing the elements or any other. So at that time that built-in methods we can use for that array list.
Okay. So you know comparable and comparator.
Yes, yes.
Yes, please tell me.
So comparable and comparator both are comes from the collection framework. So comparable is an interface which we can use. Suppose if we have the string, so they have the natural sorting order. And when we wanted to sort the element of an array, so at that time we can use the comparator. And if we are using that comparable, so comparable will sort the element according to natural sorting order for
Okay.
string or any for string or any classes. And comparable has one method, that is compare to method, which
Okay.
can be used for comparison. And for a comparator can be used for user defined classes. And if we want our custom sorting order, at that time we can use an comparator. And comparator has two methods, equals method and compare method, from which equals is an optional, but compare method we need to compulsory override.
Okay. So which database you have used?
uh, PostgreSQL.
So how many types of join?
Join has we have that first one we have the self join, then left join, right join,
Mm-hmm.
natural join,
Mm-hmm.
then self join. These are the joins
Inner
into,
join.
sorry, inner joins as well as.
Okay. You know union all
Yes, yes.
when used.
uh, Union and union all. Suppose if we are using the union and union all operator,
Mm-hmm.
so we have that union. If we are using the union, if we have the two means two set of elements, so at that time by using the union, if the elements we
Mm-hmm.
can means union, we can create the we can means we can take up the both the elements from both the set.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time we are placing the duplicate element also into the union set from both the set. But into the union all
Mm-hmm.
uh, means we are into the union, if we are taking the elements from both the set, at that time duplicate elements are placed, but they are only placed once. But into the union all we are taking all the elements from both the sets, and even if they are duplicated we are taking that all the into the one union set, union all set.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So suppose any table is going to slow perform. I want to
Pay,
yeah.
sorry.
Any data table performance is slow because
Yes.
because of data size is much. 2 GB, 3 GB data size is there.
Yes.
So I want to improve the performance. So how do you improve?
For improving the performance for of database tables,
Mm-hmm.
we can use a normalization technique for improving the performance.
Mm-hmm.
We have into the normalization we have the first NF, second normal form, third normal form. So whenever the database will go through all these normal from all these normal forms, It will optimize the database into the first. It will remove the transitive dependencies. Then it will make the data consistent. And by applying all these constraints onto the database, we can improve the performance of this data tables.
Okay. Okay, Rudra, I have done. Nice talk to you. You have given the answers very confidently.
Yeah, yeah.
So, before closing to this call, you want to ask anything else?
Yes, I just wanted to know that what are the various projects and what are the various technologies that currently working on. Uh,
No, project basically I don't know because of they are hiring to multiple projects.
okay,
So what project will allocate exactly? No have idea about that. But I will just you little bit brush up your technical skill. Okay, in the
okay,
further round. Okay,
okay,
because of this is screening round interview. So maybe ask to some in detail, maybe ask to some programming questions. So just be prepared.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Come on.